You notice the shift in someone's voice before they even know they're upset. You catch the tiny pause before a reply, the forced smile at the table, the way a room changes when one person walks in carrying something heavy. And even if nobody says anything, your body reacts as if you have been handed a task. Figure out what is happening, who needs care, what might go wrong, and how to keep everything steady. By the time you leave, everyone else says, "That was nice," but you feel like you worked a second job no one saw. If you are deeply aware, highly sensitive, or naturally perceptive, reading the room may feel less like a social skill and more like a constant background program running in your mind. This video is for you if you often sense tension early, replay conversations later, or feel tired after being around people even when nothing obvious happened. You are going to understand why this kind of awareness can be so draining, what signs show up in everyday life, and how to relate to your sensitivity without treating it like a flaw. This is not about labeling you. It is about helping you recognize the hidden labor your mind has been doing. When you read the room, you are not just listening to what people say. You are tracking tone, timing, facial expressions, posture, eye contact, silence, energy shifts, and what is not being said. For many deep thinkers, the spoken conversation is only one layer. Underneath it, there is a second conversation made of microsignals. You notice when someone says, "I'm fine," but their shoulders rise. You notice when a friend laughs a little too quickly. You notice when a meeting gets quieter after one comment. This can be useful. It helps you respond with care. It helps you sense when someone needs space or when a topic should be handled gently. But it also means your attention is divided. While someone else is simply present, you may be interpreting 5 different streams at once. 1. What was said? 2. What was meant? 3. What was avoided? 4. Who reacted? 5. What might happen next? That is a lot of mental work. And because it happens so automatically, you may not count it as effort. You just call it being aware. But awareness uses energy. The more details you take in, the more your mind has to organize, predict, and respond. That is why a short conversation can leave you unusually tired. You were not just talking. You were translating the emotional temperature of the room. A deeply aware mind often does not stop at noticing. It tries to protect the moment. If you sense discomfort, you may quickly adjust yourself. You soften your tone. You change the subject. You make a joke. You ask a careful question. You become the person who smooths things over before anyone else realizes there was anything to smooth. This can make you seem calm, thoughtful, and emotionally intelligent. But inside, it may feel like constant responsibility. Imagine you are at dinner and 2 people start speaking with a sharper edge. Nobody is yelling. Nothing dramatic is happening. But you feel the room tighten. You start watching their faces. You wonder if you should interrupt, redirect, or stay quiet. You are eating your food, but your attention is on the social weather. This is where exhaustion builds. Not only from noticing tension, but from feeling as if you must manage it. Many perceptive people learned, somewhere along the way, that peace depends on paying attention. Maybe you were praised for being mature. Maybe you were the one who sensed when someone was upset. Maybe you simply had a mind that picked up patterns early. Whatever the reason, your system may now move quickly from "I notice" to "I need to fix." The shift is subtle, but it matters. Not every discomfort is your assignment. Sometimes a room can be awkward without you rescuing it. One of the clearest signs of always reading the room is what happens after you leave. The conversation is over, but your mind keeps going. You replay the sentence you said too quickly. You remember someone's expression. You wonder if that silence meant disapproval. You ask yourself, did I miss something? Or, did I make them uncomfortable? This does not mean you are broken. It often means your brain collected more information than it had time to process in the moment. Later, when the room is quiet, it tries to sort the data. The problem is that replaying can feel like problem-solving while quietly becoming draining. You may review a normal interaction as if it were evidence in a case. 1. Their text was shorter than usual. 2. Their smile faded after my comment. 3. They looked away before answering. 4. I should have said it differently. But human behavior is not always a puzzle with one clean answer. People get tired. People are distracted. People have moods that have nothing to do with you. A highly aware mind can forget this because it is so good at finding patterns. Pattern finding is powerful, but it can also create false certainty from incomplete information. The deeper insight is this: your replay is often an attempt to create safety. Your mind believes that if it understands every signal, it can prevent rejection, conflict, or misunderstanding. But real connection does not require perfect interpretation. It requires enough presence, enough honesty, and enough room for other people to be responsible for their own inner world. For highly feeling people, the mood of a room can feel physical. You walk into a quiet office and your chest tightens. You sit beside someone who is irritated, and your own body becomes alert. You spend time with a sad friend and afterward feel heavy, even if the conversation went well. This is not weakness. Humans are socially tuned creatures. We read faces, voices, and body language because connection has always depended on it. Some people simply seem to have the volume turned up. The challenge is that you may absorb before you decide. You may enter a group in a good mood and leave feeling confused because you unknowingly matched the emotional tone around you. A simple example: you meet someone for coffee. They say they are okay, but their voice is flat, their answers are short, and their gaze keeps dropping. You start speaking more gently. You hold back your own excitement. You leave feeling subdued. Later, you realize nothing bad happened. You just adjusted to them. This is why reading the room can become invisible emotional labor. You are not only observing the mood, you are changing yourself in response to it. The skill is not to stop caring. The skill is to notice the difference between empathy and absorption. Empathy says, I can understand what you may be feeling. Absorption says, I become responsible for carrying it. One keeps your heart open. The other quietly empties you. A major turning point for deeply aware people is realizing that noticing something does not automatically mean you must respond to it. You can notice someone is disappointed without taking ownership of their disappointment. You can sense tension without becoming the mediator. You can recognize that a person's tone changed without immediately editing yourself into a smaller version of who you are. This is difficult because your awareness may feel like a moral responsibility. If you can see the need, shouldn't you meet it? If you can sense the discomfort, shouldn't you prevent it? But healthy awareness includes choice. Without choice, sensitivity becomes self-abandonment. Think of a group chat where someone replies with a single word. You instantly sense something is off. The old pattern might be to send another message, explain yourself, soften your tone, add a smiley face, or check if they are upset. A more grounded response might be, I noticed that felt different, but I do not have to solve it immediately. This does not make you cold. It makes you clear. Your attention is valuable. Your nervous energy is valuable. Your peace is valuable. There are moments when your insight can help, and there are moments when stepping back is the wiser act. A useful inner question is this mine to handle or just mine to notice? That question can create space between perception and pressure. And in that space, you get some of yourself back. The answer is not to become less perceptive. Your awareness is part of how you love, think, create, and understand people. It may be why friends trust you, why you catch meaning in small details, why you can sense what a situation needs before anyone explains it. But every strength needs a boundary to stay healthy. Reading the room becomes exhausting when it has no off switch, no limits, and no permission to rest. Try thinking of your awareness like a light. It can illuminate what others miss, but if it stays on at full brightness all the time, it overheats. You do not need to shame the light. You need to control the switch. In practical terms, that can mean three things. 1. Before entering a social space, remind yourself, I can notice without managing. 2. During a conversation, bring attention back to your own body, your breath, your feet, your hands, your actual needs. 3. After leaving, ask, what do I know for sure and what am I guessing? These small shifts help you stay connected without disappearing into everyone else. The deeper truth is that your sensitivity was never the problem. The exhaustion came from carrying it alone, using it constantly, and believing every signal required a response. You are allowed to be aware and still have limits. You are allowed to care without monitoring every face. You are allowed to be in a room without becoming the room's emotional manager. So here are the 3 key takeaways. First, if reading the room exhausts you, it may be because you are processing more emotional information than most people realize. Second, the replaying, scanning, and adjusting are often attempts to create safety, not signs that something is wrong with you. Third, your awareness becomes healthier when it includes boundaries. You can notice the shift in someone's voice without shrinking yourself. You can sense tension without becoming responsible for repairing it. And you can care deeply while still leaving space for your own energy, your own thoughts, and your own peace. If this felt familiar, subscribe for more calm, grounded psychology for deeply aware minds. And leave a comment with this question. What is the first signal you usually notice in a room? Someone's tone, facial expression, silence, posture, or energy? Naming it can help you understand just how much your mind has been carrying, and it may help someone else feel less alone too.